2, 3, off we go.
In the race to become West Midlands Mayor, this is the man to beat. Launching a new bike scheme in Solihull, the Conservative incumbent Andy Street looks to be on course for a second term.
I'm optimistic that people have a view about how I've done the job, and I think we'll get good support.
But could what's going on in Westminster shape the West Midlands result?
Are you worried that what's going on with the National Party, the sleaze allegations, could that hurt your campaign here?
I don't think so. I think what we're getting is people here who understand the fact this is a local campaign or a regional campaign, and I'm actually very confident of our story there.
OK, so people never bring that stuff up to you?
I can honestly say, since I've been knocking on doorsteps, not a single person has mentioned it.
One issue rumbling on is the Prime Minister's controversial refurbishment of his Downing Street flat, which reportedly centred around clearing out the old John Lewis furnishings. So how does that sit with the company's former CEO?
But you don't agree that John Lewis decor is not good enough for the Prime Minister?
I wanted to make John Lewis decor good enough for everybody when I was the boss of John Lewis. We all aspired to it, and I still think that should be the case, of course.
In 2017, it was a tight two-horse race, with just a few thousand votes handing Mr Street the victory over Labour. And despite no obvious shift in support, ex-Cabinet Minister Liam Byrne believes that he can take it this time.
Much support. Thanks a lot. Take care.
OK, so you think the polling is wrong and you're still on course to win here?
Yeah, you know, we are speaking to thousands of people a week.
Right.
Our numbers are strong, and so as long as people vote, we're there.
You say people are coming back to the party and you can win here. What's changed? What's bringing them back?
Well, I think people are looking at 4 years of a Tory mayor, and actually most people don't know who he is. No one can name what he's done, but they can see things going from bad to worse.
But down the road at this Castle Bromwich cafe, they had heard of the current mayor.
Oh, he's a businessman. We need more businessmen in politics, and the idiots that don't know their foot from their elbow. And Liam Byrne was the chap who wrote a note, there is no money.
I've voted Conservative for about 3 or 4 years now.
OK. I
used to be Labour, but I don't like Labour.
Yeah, so no plans to go back to Labour then at the moment? The West Midlands mayoral race has been billed as a bellwether election. For Labour to rebuild, it must start winning back places like this. But there are no signs yet that the party is making any inroads here. In fact, it's the opposite. Judging by the polls and the people that we've spoken to, those red wall voters that went blue aren't being persuaded to go back. In fact, it seems that the only thing that could sabotage the Conservatives here is their own party leader, Boris Johnson. In the Labour stronghold of Birmingham, sleaze claims are cutting through.
I don't trust him because basically he won't say how he's paid for this flat.
What do you think of Boris Johnson?
Can I swear?
But this is where it matters more, the former red wall town of Dudley. And here, they're mostly on the Prime Minister's side.
Why don't we just bloody leave him alone? It's like them always bouncing on him for something. So what if he did borrow the money?
They're always trying to get at him in some way, trying to discredit him whenever they can.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you want your flat doing up, you get it done up, you know.
Last time round, the Green Party got just 4.7%. Now they have a new candidate.
It's just really between the two parties. What's the point in voting for the Green Party?
Well, firstly, we aim to get a bit more than 4% this time. As much as, obviously, the Green Party places climate and biodiversity at the heart of all of our politics, that's not all we're about. We're as much about social justice as we are about ecological justice.
A new incarnation of the Brexit Party, the Reform Party, is calling for lockdown to be lifted.
It's an anti-lockdown party, essentially.
It's not essentially an anti-lockdown party, but that is one of the key differentiators. You asked me what's different. We are saying that the restrictions should be lifted now because they are not proportionate, they're not needed right now, and they're causing a lot of damage.
The Liberal Democrats came third in 2017.
We still need to be standing up and challenging government, and that is what we have been doing over the last year. You know, wherever they're bringing things too slowly or opening up too quickly, we're challenging that and speaking up for the people who aren't being represented and who aren't being listened to, and that's what we'll continue to do.
This local election has national implications. Labour need to show they can win back voters here. The Conservatives want to prove that the blue wall is here to stay. It's the first big test since the 2019 election, and only one of them can pass.